thank you for that, Director. That was a very comprehensive explanation, but I think it's super...
That's a nice way of saying I was long-winded.
No, no. It was super useful, and I was paying attention to your wording, and I learned some additional pieces. And I want the audience to know that I read a piece by Matt Olson at DOJ, Department of Justice today, U.S. Department of Justice, and Josh Geltzer from the White House, certainly a friend of SPY, if I could say that. And they made the case that this would be self-inflicted. And having been a CT, counterterrorism practitioner, these authorities or these capabilities were conceived as CT measures. And I think they were so useful. So I hope that Congress acts appropriately. Transition a little bit. This is a story that really got my attention back in December. A Libyan intelligence operative was taken into custody last December by the FBI, extradited to the United States to face prosecution for one of the deadliest terrorist attacks in American history, the 1988 bombing of an American jetliner, Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland. I remember when that happened. There are some people in this room that know we knew people on that aircraft. You and I both had an opportunity to attend a conference on counterterrorism in Las Vegas. Of course, you were a keynote. I was just a speaker. And you made a deliberate decision to talk about this investigation. And the question I have is, why did you choose to speak about this particular international terrorism case?
A number of reasons. The first is it was a useful way to remind the audience that notwithstanding the fact that terrorism doesn't get the same level of attention sometimes in news circles these days as it did earlier in my career and yours,
that's right,
that terrorism, both foreign and domestic, remains the FBI's #1 priority. And I don't envision that changing. So that was one. A second reason was that even though our approach to tackling the terrorist threats has evolved both between Pan Am 103 and 9/11 and from 9/11 to the present, and there have been different approaches, different tactics, different strategies, different epiphanies about how to deal with the threat. What hasn't changed is the tenacity that the FBI brings to this particular fight, frankly brings to our mission overall. Everybody's heard the saying, the FBI always gets its man. We got our man. I mean, this was 34 years after the attack. It involved generations of FBI employees working on it. But this was the bomb maker of the bomb that brought down the plane that killed 270 people a couple days before Christmas that year. And we're very proud of the work we did with a number of foreign partners and domestic partners to bring him back to the U.S. And I think it underscores the message that the FBI has a long memory and an even longer reach, and we never, ever give up.
Well, I want to offer a footnote. So yesterday, and you're probably far too busy to see things that I have written, I published an article yesterday, an opinion piece that we're going to share with the audience about the long arm of justice, because the story that you shared just now resonated with me, but also there was a piece during while I was serving at President Trump's National Security Council. You remember Mustafa al-Imam also was brought from North Africa to the United States to face justice. So I think it's an important time of year when we hit the September 11th anniversary to remember that, yes, 9/11 was absolutely a milestone, but similarly, Benghazi happened and other events happened, and I think it's really important to keep in mind that our foreign partners working with us are relentless, so I really appreciate you sharing that, Director. So I don't want to get off the topic of